Hey everyone, welcome to more of the Mises Guys. We are with Boo again this time, going over part 3 of the Man of Iron.
You poor
Last time we left
souls.
off, um, Jazz had just kidnapped Sammy after Mirage tried to kidnap him in the middle of the night, and after Jazz had stalked him. So, not looking really good for the Autobots here.
Yeah, this is not good PR. Or
Not in
the
the least. This
the
is
optics are bad.
real bad, real bad. But
So
yeah.
our cover, we have a cool image of Thundercracker firing at Jazz while Sammy is hanging on to the wheel for like dear life. And the artist was Mike Collins, not the astronaut.
Well, it'd be really
so
impressive if it was.
so he's a Welsh artist and writer who was formerly attempted a career in law.
Oh,
That didn't work out, so he enjoyed working on fiction more.
he can always write funny books or draw funny
Right.
books.
Yes.
The
So he did both. He wrote and drew stuff.
well,
So
actually, I really liked the cover. It was a nice, like a splash of different action scenes.
yeah, the
Really
different
nice.
panels. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Very
Yeah.
unusual to see a comic cover like that.
Yeah. It's more laid out like an interior page.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. Very vibrant colors. Very nice, nice lines. And just man, once again, the art of this book is so good.
Oh yeah. Well, he did work on Marvel UK for Spider-Man,
Oh,
Doctor Who, and Zoids as well. And
Zoids.
Zoids,
Nice,
yeah. And then he
nice.
also worked on 2000 AD on Dread, Slain, Rogue Trooper, and Future Shocks. So a lot of Dread.
There's a lot of 2080 bleed over into this stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah. That probably lent a lot to how the UK Transformers comics came out because you have a lot of like I don't know, a lot almost like heavy metal because that's what 2000 AD was really a lot like the heavy metal stuff. And yeah, the Transformers for UK was definitely like seemed like it was aiming at an older audience, even though
Yeah.
obviously your kids loved it, but it carried over like it could hit the different age groups
Yeah.
fairly easily.
Well, obviously this is working out pretty well because there was like last issue, one of the letters to the editor was about a kid who was talking about how much he loved the comic, but his dad also read it whenever he got a new issue. So,
Right.
father and son reading the same book. So
Well, we're going to see a lot more from Mike Collins because he did a lot of the issues for the UK comics, like the first few years,
nice.
and
I
then
really like the style.
yeah, and then also along with Mark Farmer, he did the art for the first four Ladybird books. You ever seen the little hardback
Oh, yeah.
Ladybird? Yeah, he did the Autobot Lightning Strike, Megatron's Fight for Power, Autobots Fight Back, and Laserbeak's Fury.
Now, I got to say that Ladybird books are really notorious for having like a Optimus Prime without a face mask or a very early art looking Megatron, things like that. They had very early designs in the
Yeah,
Ladybird books, but they're great art.
yeah, and Mike Collins really leaned towards the designs that look more like the toys because when he started drawing, they hadn't gotten anything from Marvel
Yes, and
Productions or anything. Yeah, for
yeah.
the character models. And a funny story was he actually met with Bob Budiansky, I believe, and Budiansky gave him like the Bible for it that had all the character design and stuff. And he brought it back to the UK and like I guess brought it in like Moses bringing the tablets down from the mountain.
Yeah.
And he was involved in another, I guess, potentially controversial thing going on with Transformers. Because while he worked at Marvel, he and James Hill had been approached by Ian Rimmer, who is the second editor for the Transformers UK comics. We'll run into him later.
Yeah.
But they were approached to work on a story treatment for another comic because Rimmer had been pulled into a meeting with a Scandinavian toy representative who had acquired the European licensing for various Japanese transforming toys that were also available in Hasbro's Transformers line.
Oh.
Yeah, same toys, different company. In fact, Rimmer says he's for sure he saw Shockwave in their stuff and possibly Jetfire as well, among other toys.
That makes
And
sense.
the other toy company wanted them to create a comic featuring their Transformers. And basically, they were just going to make a separate European Transformers comic, and just strictly for the European market, which
Hmm.
is why Rimmer drew upon Collins and Hill. But it all
Okay.
fell through because when Hasbro got wind of it, they just bought the Scandinavian toy company outright. And that
Mark.
handled all their licensing agreements they had with the Japanese toy companies and killed all hopes for an upstart European rival to the Transformers franchise.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah,
What was that company called? Do you know? Scandinavian
I
company?
could not find that out yet.
Okay. It's kind of curious.
I'm gonna keep digging though, see if I can figure out what it is, because
Yeah.
it was a small company. They said.
Okay. There was a lot of small upstart companies during the early 80s trying to get
Mm-hmm.
into the market. So it's not surprising at all.
And then around this time, you also had like from Italy, you had like Gig and stuff like that. And I
Yeah,
know there was another company, I think in France, that was doing like Diaclones
that
and
makes
stuff over
sense.
there. So yeah,
Yeah, no, there are different names. A lot of them are released. You can find some of those boxes with different company logos and stuff on them. So it's kind of neat.
yeah. So I thought you would enjoy that bit of controversy right there.
Oh, always a little controversy with you. So, man, the letter to the editor, or the editor's letter this time, says they're regretfully having to raise the price of the issue so they can do more coloring. I mean, dude, as long as you're not paying Yomtov, that's cool, man.
Two
Like,
pence.
who?
Two
Oh,
pence is
two
what it went
pence.
up.
Yes. Well, I mean, let me think about it. Back when, I got a few comics when I was younger. I mean, they were 25 cents. I mean, now they're like 3.99, 4.99, depending on the company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's changed quite a bit. But then they're actually paying, artists better. Well, most of them are.
Oh yeah. Well, and
Green Wave.
their printing stock and all that was better too.
Yeah, for sure.
Which actually, when I was reading that about Rimmer, he talks about, and they were interviewing Simon Furman too,
Mhm.
and they mentioned that the quality was different between the U.S. and U.K. printings, and they said it wasn't entirely Yomtov's fault. It was the fact that they printed on cheaper stock,
Mhm.
and they had a much more narrow gamut of colors to work from in the American side of printing than they did in the UK.
Okay.
So all the different gradations of colors and stuff,
Mhm.
the Marvel US was literally unable to do that. Like they couldn't do it at all.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So that kind of, kneecapped them there too. So
Yeah.
so they took up for Yomtov a little bit in that interview.
Ah,
He said
all
not
right.
entirely his fault.
I still put a little blame on him. But yeah, the Autobot fact file this time is Sunstreaker. I mean, well deserved. He's one of the early cars, so that was
That's
nice
a
to
really
see
good
that.
picture of Sunstreaker too.
It
That's
is,
the
yeah.
box art, but it looks really good in here.
It does. The only problem is like the writing on his fact file was a little hard to read on the thing of it. Or was that last? I think no, it was actually Starscream last week. It was kind of hard to read. Anyways, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was cool to see that in there. Really, you're hitting all the heavy hitters right now. I'm still surprised they used Ravage so early, but he was a pretty big character in that first miniseries. But
Yeah, they were playing favorites.
no, I'm sure. But there's also an advert for a magazine called Robot World, which kind of it was really cool that during the late 70s early 80s. I don't know if you saw a lot of this. There's a lot of I don't know, concept art of what robots were going to be like and what direction we were heading with robots, and these really big pie in the sky kind of art through a lot
Oh
of those
yeah, I
things.
read every one of those books I get at
Oh
the
yeah.
book fair. There's always like
Oh
three
yeah.
or four every time they come through, and they were different.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, so it was kind of neat to see that in there. I guess they're giving away copies of it. But they have another page. The next page is like winners columns for the 18, which I didn't really pick out what that was. Was that the 18 contest they had earlier in the
Yeah, it's that contest. Wasn't it the soundtrack?
yeah soundtrack.
Yeah,
Hey, good on them.
yeah.
But also there's a letter from I said Defeed Morris from Reading. I'm sorry, freaking out about the fate of all the characters from issue 8. And he's like, "What happened to Shockwave? What happened to Braun? What happened to Huffer and all this kind of stuff?" And basically the response from the editor is like, "Yeah, hope the story's calmer for you." And the things aren't as exciting. I'm like, so I'm reading that thinking like, yeah, except that abduction. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty calm. Yeah.
Nobody cares about that kid. We're worried about Huffer.
Yeah.
It's all about Huffer.
And I was kind of happy they did this. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Robot Roundup talking about what I thought it was Fort Cybertron.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're describing it sounded like the way it was described on this is way too early for this. It sounded like they did a mod of Doom, but actually it was like what you said, a Berserk clone, right?
Yeah, it was Berserk.
The way they're talking about it in the wording, I looked at the picture you sent me, like, well, that's really underwhelming. But you think about the time, and this was 1985, February of 1985. So I mean, you're talking, Atari,
Yeah.
maybe Tandies and Commodore 64s and things.
And this game was already about 2 years old at this point because it came out in '83. And it
Mhm.
was called Cybertron Mission, which, yeah,
Okay.
it makes it sound like it's Fort Cybertron, but I guess that's the name of the maze.
Hmm.
And they put it out for BBC Micro, Accordion, Electron, and Commodore 64.
Yeah.
And basically, just like Berserk, you run through various maze rooms. You can't touch the walls, and you got spinners and cyber droids that shoot at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of that immortal smiley face, the evil Otto that chases you if you stay too long, it's a
Mhm.
spook that's a ghost of the last adventurer who tried to pass through Fort Cybertron.
Nice.
But the big difference between Berserk and Cybertron Mission is that Cybertron Mission never actually killed anybody. Berserk is listed as having 2 fatalities. Berserk was the first video game to actually kill players.
Nice. So
Yeah.
there's something early on like that that time frame when we were new, well, the online fandom was still pretty new. We were all looking for like video games of Transformer stuff, and there was
Mm-hmm.
the what was the convoy game that they were at, that was out in the Famicom.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of that, what the name is. It's something convoy. um
Mystery of Convoy,
Mystery
isn't it?
Convoy, yeah, it
Yeah.
was terrible side scroller. There weren't a lot of games though for Transformers until I want to say, was it Beast Wars?
Yeah, they had, well, there was the one Beast Wars game, and then they had the Beast Wars Transmetals.
Metals. Yeah,
But I want to say there was a Commodore game for Transformers too.
there might have been. I can't
Yeah, it was
remember.
just called the Transformers.
Okay,
Yeah.
I never saw that one. It didn't have a Commodore 64.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, all those rich kids. But
Apparently that one was released in '86 also.
okay,
So it wasn't like too early.
all right. But yeah, so yeah, we're talking about that. And you said you had found some information about silent running also.
Yes. Okay, Silent Running is
Yes.
a 1972 movie. It says 71 in here, but it was actually released in '72.
Mhm.
With Bruce Dern in it, which, I
Mhm.
don't know, you watch Hateful Eight, Bruce Dern. And it mentions Huey, Dewey, and there was a third robot named Louie. So they're named after the ducks, the Disney
Yeah.
ducks. Okay. And it's on a botanical ship in space containing the last specimens of Earth's plant life after Earth has suffered a full ecological collapse. Okay. And it came about after the success that Universal had with Easy Rider a few years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to let up and coming filmmakers make like semi-independent films on low budgets, hoping to reap the same kind of high profits they got from Easy Rider. And they tried this with 5 films. They did Silent Running, they did The Hired Hand, The Last Movie, Taking Off, and then one you probably heard of called American Graffiti.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Silent Running proved to be really influential for the next generation of sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the exterior shots they used in Silent Running were actually reused when they did Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the young unknown director of American Graffiti, George Lucas, approached the director of Silent Running, Douglas Turnbull, to get his blessing for his next project called Star Wars, as he wanted to use robots that were similar to Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And he got it, and that's where the design for the astromech droids like R2D2 and R5D4 came from. Okay, so this all came back up though a few years later when Lucas and 20th Century Fox tried to sue Universal over Battlestar Galactica, because Universal countered, pointing out how much that Lucas had borrowed from Silent Running and saying that Star Wars was actually derivative of Silent Running.
Well, Star Wars is pretty derivative, but I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, but they were trying to sue everyone. And they were claiming that like space, any movie set in space was infringing on Star Wars. Like they were being very aggressive with it. So of course, uh, Lucas and 20th Century Fox lost that case, but it doomed Battlestar Galactica. But
Oh yeah.
beyond that, there has also been stated from Joel Hodgson that silent running was inspiration for the format of Mystery Science Theater.
Oh,
With the
nice.
sole worker on a spacecraft with his robots to keep him company.
Makes a lot of sense now with very low budget.
Yeah. And going further, like I said, it was very influential. Rob Grant and Doug Naylor have also stated that silent running was one of their major influences when creating Red Dwarf.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, this thing is like spawned. I mean, technically, it spawned Star Wars, it spawned Mystery Science Theater, and Red Dwarf. So that's not bad.
Yeah, really. There's a lot of I'd heard really how Star Wars was pretty much a ripoff of
Well,
oh
there was
God,
the
was it-
Lensman.
which one?
Lensman.
Lensman? No, it was something. It was
Yeah.
a Kurosawa movie, I believe.
Oh yeah, it was Seven Samurai, not Seven
No,
Samurai.
no.
But yeah, there's a lot of that. There's the Western aspect of it. Like he took from various sources and kind of
Oh yeah, for sure.
put it together. But yeah, Lensman was definitely one I've heard that he borrowed from as well. But yeah,
Okay.
his droid designs for Astromechs was definitely inspired by silent running.
Okay, well, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to check that out now. Now that you point that out. I'd never heard it before, but I'm sure a lot of movie buffs probably have.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of funny because Laura Dern is
Mhm.
Bruce Dern's daughter,
Yep.
and she saw it when she was young with him in the theater, and she had to leave crying because there's a scene where he like runs a vehicle into one of the robots and damages it,
Oh,
and she got
jeez.
really upset with him for being so careless.
How
And
old was she
they
though?
had to leave the theater. She was so upset about it.
Nice. How old is she when that happened? Does it say?
Oh, I want to say she was like around 5, I think, 4 or
Yeah.
5. She was really young. And then it's just kind of a coincidence that he plays a botanist in this, and then in Jurassic Park she plays a paleobotanist.
Nice.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's on purpose. Probably was.
probably didn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, okay, when you're a kid, what was the one thing you always wanted? You wanted to watch with your initials on it.
Oh yeah, more
Like,
than
man,
anything else.
forget the Spidey watches that I totally forgot to drop a picture of in the YouTube last week. Uh, these were just like they look like men's dress watches or women's dress watches also with your initials carved in the back like that. That's boring. This this is a comic about robots in space or from space fighting. And here, kid, here's a watch.
Well, these
But
watches don't violate your privacy like Spidey watches do.
always watch. Oh, it was a Spidey watches.
Spidey watches.
But so we get back right into the issue with Jazz saying he's not going to hurt Sammy. All right, man. First of all, the last time we saw this whole thing happen, Jazz was driving away with Sammy against the window, looking at his mom. He can't get out, and Jazz speeds off. So immediately he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah,
I need your help."
that's what
Really?
they always say.
Yeah.
If you put the lotion on the skin, I won't hurt you.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I know we're following the kid and his adventure, but you got to think it's dark now. It was like morning when he took off with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and his mom has to be frantic, like just out of her mind,
Some pervert in a race car drove off with him.
right?
Like she doesn't know that he's a robot car. I mean, come on.
Oh no, well, Sammy doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Oh,
as
and
they talk, that comes out.
yeah, and there's a little scene where or a part in there where I'd say scene, bubble where Jazz says, "I'm going to have you meet some of my friends," and
Yeah,
I'm just thinking like, man, where is the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime now? Like, what is he doing here? Like, why do you need a kid?
right.
What's it really going to do? But I understand we want to hit that target audience. But
If they
Jazz
just had
tells
the internet, so they could have looked up the Man of Iron information.
right.
This kid is superfluous.
So yeah, man. Dad's basically says, "Hey, I'm taking to meet some of my friends," and Sammy seems shocked by that.
Yeah,
So, man, who do we have next walking out of the woods but Mirage, the other guy who was trying to abduct him?
right.
It's not looking better.
I got your tidy whities, kid.
Dude, yours. Um, he tells Sammy that sometimes they disguise themselves so they can move around unnoticed. This still sounds like they're like pervs and they're trying to follow around the kids and they don't want to seem they don't want to be noticed when they're doing it.
Sometimes I wear sunglasses and a trench coat so nobody recognizes me.
Yeah, really.
I've been tarred and feathered too many times, kid.
So yeah, man, Jazz then tells Sammy that he was the robot he saw in the woods because Sammy's kind of slow. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm guessing he's like 8 or 9 years old, so I can't really, blame him too much for that. But Sammy's finally getting caught up, like, oh yeah, this car that has no speedometer, just like lights and buttons and stuff inside, that's talking to me, and has a friend who's a robot walking in the woods. Oh, wait, I'll put two and two together. That makes sense now. Yeah. So Sammy's
yeah.
finally caught up.
And I thought it was kind of cool how Jazz tells him that his real name is unpronounceable.
Yeah. I like that. I made that in my notes also. So he's essentially saying that you can't pronounce in our language or anything like that, so you can just call me Jazz. And that was kind of a good way to put it because we're always, suspending the disbelief of like, well, of course they're on Cybertron, of course they're going to talk English or whatever,
Yeah,
whatever language they're dubbed
they
in.
don't have bumblebees, but his name is Bumblebee. Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, actually, that was a good little. I don't know, kind of. I would say world building, but kind of like good way to deal with all that kind of like kids going, well, wait a second, they're aliens. Yeah,
yeah. It was a nice little detail they added to it.
yeah,
Uh, After I'd first read that, like back in the day, I was like, well, I wonder what they sounded like. And around that time, we're like, oh, maybe it sounded like a modem squawk, like when you dial out.
ones and zeros.
Which oddly enough, it wasn't that far off when they used it in the 2007 movie.
Yeah, exactly. That was a little more squelchy, but yeah.
Yeah,
And then they're going. Mirage and Jazz are going, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna rendezvous with Trailbreaker." Which all this does is gives the seekers we find next something to shoot at. Apparently,
right. Just makes a bigger target.
Trailbreaker, it gets ravaged by Thundercracker. It is Thundercracker, right? Look at the stickers.
Eh, well, his stickers are colored like Skywarp,
Uh-huh.
or he's drawn like Skywarp, but his colors are Thundercrackers.
That's right.
So this is all we're about to get into a big spaghetti bowl mess
That's
of
what I figured.
secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought I had the two triangles like Sky or Thundercracker does.
Well, he has the two circles at first. When you look at the first scene when it shows
Okay.
him like diving.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then later it's like a mix. It's half Thundercracker, half Skywarp stickers.
Okay.
So it's like you could tell they were getting confused.
Yeah, it's all the same.
And Trailbreaker had the ass blown out of it. Literally.
The whole back of that truck. There's a tire burning or flying off.
Yeah. He's in bad shape after that. I'm like, man.
He's real bad off. And man, he transforms and it just looks like a mess of like dark robot
You
stuff.
can't even see his head. It's just like a blob where his head is.
I was looking for it too. Like maybe they drew it kind of faint. No.
Yeah. That's
But apparently they knew where the head transformed into. The trailer, right? Yeah. Or underneath it rather. So yeah, Trailbreaker apparently is gone for the rest of this issue.
Yeah, he's messed up, and nobody goes back for him. They're like,
No.
He radios it. It's all ruined, just plain ruined.
Yeah. Thundercracker gets hit by Mirage's electro. Oh, I think it's Thundercracker hits by Mirage's electro disruptor and crashes into a bridge.
Yeah, and that's where it gets mixed up because if you zoom in on it, you can actually see it's like the circle with the triangle, and then it's a triangle facing both ways. So it's almost like a Star of David.
Maybe they thought it was Jewish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just and then it's just a mishmash of their stickers. But let's see. Yeah, because he uses the electro disruptor
Hmm.
to disappear from sight, which he hadn't done that before. He hasn't just
Yeah.
outright disappeared. He's always just been displaced.
Hmm.
Okay, so that seeker crashes into a bridge, and like I said, he has a combination pattern of Skywarp and Thundercracker on the stickers.
Yeah.
And then in the U.S. though, this black and white page was colored as Skywarp
Hmm.
with Thundercracker's red trim.
That's right.
So
You,
to
you
just
showed me that picture. Yeah.
to further make it convoluted. Okay, and then they have the second seeker attacks from the front.
Hmm.
Okay, he's also colored like Skywarp. Okay, in the U.S. version, this is all black and white in this one, and he has Skywarp's proper sticker pattern. So I don't know if that was Skywarp, maybe he teleported.
I mean, maybe, sure.
Yeah, but then he gets blasted by Blue Streak and crashes. And in the
Yeah.
U.S. comic, I mean, it's all colored like Skywarp at that point.
Okay.
Okay. In the collected comics that was also reprinted by IDW,
Hmm.
it's Thundercracker who attacks Trailbreaker and crashes into the bridge.
Okay.
And then the head-on attack comes from Skywarp, who's in Thundercracker's colors. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I like the idea that it's Skywarp because he's pushing them from the front, coming this way, and they're behind him.
Right.
Honestly, like in the nerdy sense, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, and then the Seeker that's shot down by Blue Streak
Mhm.
is colored like Skywarp. So the colors are all over the place on like all of the versions of this comic.
I really like that though. When you had it was like they're on a highway and the overpass has blue streak, and I'm sitting there looking at the picture going like it's got to be blue streak because it doesn't have the sirens like Prowl does,
Right.
and it's too early for smokescreen. So I was kind of happy to see that, pick him out. The drawing on his head and his guns and stuff looked really good.
Yeah, it did.
Man, the art in this is so good still. So yeah,
Yeah, the
he
line
takes
work's still really awesome.
which one's that?
I said the line work is really
Oh
awesome.
yeah, is this?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I think it's supposed to be ridge weight, but it seems like it's less heavy with
Oh yeah, no,
shading.
this is still Collins.
It is Collins doing
Yeah, this
this.
is Mike Collins doing this one.
Okay, he does a great job. Still,
Yeah.
he has a very very like a toy. It's basically like it's very very much the toy, but not too much. Like you have
Well,
some of that mobility.
and like you said a few episodes back, this would be good just as a plain black and white comic. This
Oh yeah,
comic is good enough in black and white.
yeah, 100%.
It really it reminds me of some of those early Dark Horse comics
Yeah,
when they would do this.
I I, I loved reading Blade of the Immortal with
Hmm.
from Dark Horse. That
Hmm.
was one of those comics that was beautifully drawn. It's all black and white, and except for the covers, they'd be colored, but all
Yeah.
black and white comic and
I was saying
the
like
shading.
concrete and
Oh,
stuff like that. Yeah, they did really awesome. Like
so good. The textures from the black and white was so nice. So when
right.
I see this kind of stuff in this book, it makes me really want to read the whole thing in just line art.
Hmm.
But I understand, people don't always like that. And when I was a kid, I wouldn't like that either. So there you go.
Right.
So yeah, man. So Sammy freaks out and pulls the steering wheel, apparently saving Jazz.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to figure out what he's doing. He's like, "Ah," he's like freaking out in the cab, and then like Jazz says, "You saved me." Like I had to go back and look at what he had done. But yeah,
Oh yeah, that was after the Seeker crashing the bridge. Yeah, he
yeah,
yanks the wheel, and
yeah,
it's like, did he really save you? At least did he do it on purpose?
yeah. That was a panic. That was a panic thing, man.
Yeah.
But next
And why does
page.
he even have the wheel engaged
I
in
don't know,
there?
man. Why does he even have a wheel in there? So he can look like a real car, just like a Porsche race car.
Right.
Makes sense. But next page is What an Insecticon, which is cool because I don't think they weren't out yet, were they?
No, and if you look in the picture there,
Uh-huh.
they have red chests like the
Like the Diaclone.
like the Diaclone, the Warrooters.
Yeah.
So they probably just repainted some Warrooters, or they still had that plastic in the injector.
That could be. Maybe that's what it was. There's there, I always assume like whenever there was some the changeover from doing Diaclone or Microman, Microchange, whatever, that there was still a lot of there's still leftover stuff from those that ended up in the US market. Like the kite on some of the jet fires early on the
Oh
Macross kite,
yeah.
or you have that early mini cars with hubcap and bumble jumper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm
Oh yeah.
seeing there's some spillover from the Japanese stuff that made it
And then
into
you
the
have all the color swapping like between
oh yeah,
Sunstreaker and Sideswipe, and
yep. So I'm sure there's things that may made it into the American market like that. So that's kind of
well,
neat to
I
see.
wonder if that's not behind some of like the color confusion, like with the Seekers, is that they
Oh,
didn't have the finished product yet.
probably so. And they probably just gave them an idea what it was supposed to look like, and they had to kind
Right.
of fill in the blanks.
Because they hadn't even gotten proper character models.
No,
That's why
not
they're
at all.
drawing it off the toys. So
Well, I think they had character models. Well, they actually had the toys for like Starscream out, I believe,
hmm
and they had a few of the Autobots, and there wasn't a whole lot of them. So you could probably take Starscream and say, okay, with this, except it's blue, this is red, or this is black and this is purple, and so on.
yeah. Well, and even in like the early American comics, they had Starscream's colors on. They had him with the blue chest,
Yeah.
which that was the early character model. And then you have Megatron with the dark helmet and that.
You know,
So
I gotta say though, watching that original, they did the original commercial for the comics,
hmm
and they had a lot of the Ladybird comics books rather had that black helmet.
yeah,
Looks really good, and just it's a completely different way, just
yeah,
a different concept. Where we're used to the all gray, helmet, hat,
hmm
whatever, head of Megatron, and the cannon, his fusion cannon looked a lot more cumbersome than it was on the Sunbow model.
yeah. It was more like a bazooka than
Yeah,
just a mounted gun.
yeah, which is great. I like them both for different reasons.
hmm
But anyways, so
Variation's good.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's because we've seen so much of it growing up the same thing for so long, and people very confused nowadays about what was actually out there first. And
hmm
they can get into that. You and I complain about that a lot, but
constantly.
constantly, yeah. You have the internet at your fingertips on your phone. You can look this stuff up. But anyways,
Yeah,
um,
don't get me started.
yeah. Jazz wakes Sammy up, and Sammy forgets where he's at. He's in the front seat on the for some reason this Porsche has bench seats. Um,
Not very sporty.
no, it wakes up, and makes Sammy's like, oh, we gotta walk now. He's like, what? It's cold outside. Like, sorry I didn't let you pack a suitcase, but we gotta go.
Yeah, you could have asked him.
Yeah, no joke.
And then Sammy's
Um,
got his shoes on the upholstery, which is a big no-no in a Porsche.
Jazz is like, you already messed up my upholstery. My chassis is all messed up because of you kicking in there. Um, so yeah, the Jazz takes him to the shuttle, and there's this like low. There's like a description of like gears are turning as the door opens up. That's this very alien ship vibe thing going where the doors are opening. You see like this faint shimmering of a figure behind all this white light.
hmm
People they show this really bad conspiracy theory or conspiracy shows where like there's a gray outlined by this bright light,
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
like
that.
Close Encounters or something.
Oh, very much, yeah, very much. But it's Optimus Prime, and he walks out of the shuttle, and he is a very early model looking of Optimus Prime. He looks like the Ladybird book, so actually, when you said that, it made a lot of sense.
Oh
If almost
yeah.
very flat and wide. So even like the front of the truck was very flat against his chest.
Oh yeah. This is straight from the toy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe because the way if you look at the Ladybird books and this, you can see the same style. But I think the toy is very like he's got a big chest sticking out. And he's got these arms like that. This was almost like he was trying to make him look like a dude who has a truck, chest and torso and all that.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a truck with arms and legs.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And the head design on this was really good too.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, Optimus Prime's head, it has a very much like there's a it's not an accident that he looks very samurai like or very Ronin like with this the way the mask and the helmet and everything is. And he looks
Yeah.
very Asian and being derived from Asian cultures with the way that the helmet is, the head.
It looks a lot like the picture that was on the back of the boxes
Yeah, yeah,
where
very
they're
well.
fighting in space.
Maybe that's where he's getting a lot of the art ideas. Maybe they have
It's
this thing done
possible.
because now he's very flat also.
He even has the fender arms. If you look at his
Yeah,
forearms, he has the fender notches just like on the box back, the
yeah.
box art on there.
Maybe this is like they took that early box art and like had it up there so you could like look at the character models.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
That,
sure they
that very
did.
well could be what happened. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that.
And the shuttle, if you know, that's the UFO that Sammy saw in his dream
Yes,
last issue. So was he actually asleep at all, or is he like, did
that was
he
a
have
thing, man.
precognition or something?
He was it was a weird fever dream thing that he was doing there because yeah, that's the UFO.
He
He
sleep
saw
with
the
his eyes
secret.
open. I mean,
I know. Then there was that time where he was floating above his body that was sleeping in his bed in a field. Hey, what is this 2001 premonition stuff?
Sammy's a mutant. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I
Sammy's a mutant.
mean, yeah, I didn't realize he was a like an X kind of mutant. I figured he was just a mutant child, but here we are.
He's
But
right around the age it come, their powers turn on. So
is that why he has these crazy looking shots of his face that are all green and red and
yeah,
I was laughing because
it.
we were trading things back and forth before we did the episode and I'm like it's Holly from
Oh
Red
yeah,
Dwarf.
from Red Dwarf. And I
And
thought of
now
like the EC horror comics, the way they've
oh
used the
yeah.
lighting on their faces for mood.
Oh yeah, actually well, very much like the creep show
Yeah,
kind of lighting.
that's what I was thinking.
Oh
It's like creep
yeah.
show.
That's great actually. That's what it reminded me of. The what was it the from the first creep show movie though like was it Fluffy or whatever?
Oh yeah, well they had that, and they had Father's Day where they finally see him walk in with the cake and shows everybody's
Yeah.
faces with the different
There's this
colors.
green light over their faces or red lights and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very, very nice callback to early, horror movies and comics like that.
pre-code.
Yes. Oh
When
yeah.
everything was awesome.
I'm like you're showing me some pictures. I'm like, he looks like he's from Mandy, which fantastic movie. Because in Mandy, there's a lot of red lights. One part where Nicolas Cage is looking extra crazy.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they like to show that on the previews a lot.
oh man, so good, so flipping good. So yeah, Optimus says, "Hey, we followed this signal to your country, and apparently it's in their language or whatever their signal, I guess wavelength or whatever. They followed it
Hmm.
there, thinking that there was a ship that was going to send out to rescue them, and they think it's under the castle. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
The ocean liner under the castle makes sense now.
Yeah, and they explained what the Decepticon bomb was. It wasn't a bomb at all. It was a probe.
Yep,
Yeah,
which
so
is
they
why it
wanted
didn't
to
go
figure
off.
out. Everybody's trying to figure out what's under the castle.
Yeah, what's the under the castle? So the castle. Um, and Jazz tells Sammy they have to beat the Decepticons to it because who knows what they'll do.
Yeah, because they think there's Autobots in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, which we'll find out later what's going on.
yeah.
But
He says they're hiding and waiting, and it's like, well, what are they waiting on? Because you guys have been there for a long time.
4 million years. But that fun has come to a quick end
Yeah, that's to
because
be continued.
yes, because we are back to Machine Man, and I read this week's. I'm
I
not saying that's a
saw.
good thing. But I had to see it. It was
You wanted to see the Fantastic Four. You wanted to
I
see
wanted
how
to
they were.
see the ever loving blue eyed thing.
Well, you got a lot of him. It's more the Fantastic Two.
Yeah, it
This
really
issue.
is.
The not so Fantastic Two.
Sue and Reed just show up to clean up afterwards.
Yeah, it's like we got the two dumbest members of the Fantastic Four.
The man whore and the idiot.
Yeah, because we start X-51 is still like dino mudding through the air.
Oh, it's beautifully bad. And he does
Yeah.
this kind of controlled fall. It lands in
Yeah.
this auto yard.
He's like springing and rolling and tucking and just trying not to kill anybody that's in the street beneath.
Yeah.
Because his failsafe turns off his anti-gravity. I guess he went to power save mode or something.
Yeah, he did. It's like not all your functions work. Like when your phone's really low or computer's really low and you need to plug it in. Yeah, it essentially did that. Like
Stasis
it
lock
dim
commencing.
the screen.
Damage extreme.
And his gravity negating power. It
Yes.
was like he can negate gravity is what it
It's like they
said.
can't call it anti-gravity. Was there a trademark on that or
Well, who knows?
something? I
Probably.
mean,
But you think that,
Einstein.
yeah, really, you think that Marvel
Trademarked it.
would have something like that, but no, maybe not. So he crashes into this auto yard, and there is this guy who is named Oswald F. Garvin, nicknamed Gears.
Yeah. We have
Little
Gears in the junkyard finding a damaged, dying robot. Where have we heard this story before? He wasn't named Gears, though. He was named Sparkplug, and the robot
Yeah,
was Bumblebee.
exactly.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
It is, except apparently old Gears here, Oswald, he apparently likes to beat the crap out of people to get around his auto yard. So I don't think Sparkplug did that.
We don't know what spark. He just poisoned you. You come in his yard, he's gonna poison you.
He poisoned you and like cut your brake lines.
Yeah.
So this mutant lady Ion we saw last issue arrives at the Baxter building. She's like, either they're gonna cure me or they're gonna kill me. Either way, I'm good to
Yeah.
go.
Well, she's confusing because she keeps saying that, oh, they can help me. They might have the power to help me.
Yeah,
But you know, she's not real clear on her motivations here. At least she's not being clear with us.
no, not at all. I was confused as hell.
Yeah. I really like what Gears did with Machine Man, though. He gave him like unicycle legs, so he looks like
did.
Thrust from Beast Machines.
He is. He's even the right colors. We were pointing
Right?
out.
Oh yeah, he matches colors.
He, he looks
And I
so
think this is the first guy
stupid.
that was actually happy to see Machine Man just land. Everybody else like, you're a freak. You're
Yeah.
you're an abomination. He's like, hey, I like stuff like you. You're the first one I've seen that works. And it's like, well, he's not quite working.
And yeah, he's like, I'll just I'll do some some parts I've laying around here and fix you. And Machine Man's like, this is great.
Yeah,
And
he's happy as a clam to get all these weird parts like plugged into.
he literally, man, he goes full on dynamite here though.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's going down the road on the one wheel. I mean, looks like the like the thin bigger chopper wheels from the big chopper bikes. It looks like
Oh
he put one
yeah.
of those between his knees.
Yeah, he's got
And
a
like,
big wheel.
yeah, Machine Man's like, this is great.
And he's able
Hey,
to retract his limbs again, which I guess helped too.
yeah, exactly. He just like, I think he cut a few wires and he jury rigged a lot of stuff in there. And then like, yeah, Machine Man's like, it works better than ever because you just rigged it.
I bet Gears could turn, motor oil into energon too.
He probably could. He does that in the prison turlet.
Oh yeah. That's the good stuff there.
Yeah. So yeah, she's at the Baxter building. They'll cure me or kill me. And the ever-loving blue-eyed thing is soaking in the strawberry-scented tub, smoking a cigar.
Oh yeah, he's in his Mr. Bubble.
He's having the time of his life. Read a magazine.
I'm surprised he didn't have like cucumbers over his eyes or something,
He was probably right about to do that.
He's having a spa day. Yeah, he had to finish the stogie first.
So there's the proximity alarm goes off and the thing gets out of the tub. He's got like a little towel wrapped around him, and the Human Torch wanders in there. He's like, hey, what's going on here? So there's a intruder alert. And Ben was just, I thought it was literally nothing. I think what it was.
Oh yeah, well he's complaining that you can't wait for me to get dressed.
Yeah.
And Human Torch's like, nah, I got a hot date later, so I gotta hurry up and knock this out.
So the Human Torch and Ion go back and forth. And okay, I don't know how much you know about the Hindenburg, but she is a hydrogen cloud.
Yeah.
And he's throwing fireballs, and she goes, oh, your fireballs pass right through my hydrogen cloud body.
Yeah.
Hold on. I feel like there's something wrong with this.
Apparently her electromagnetic field was really good.
I guess so, to keep the extremely flammable hydrogen from igniting.
But they don't even try to talk to her and say, "Hey, can we help you? What's up? Did you crash or what?" No, they instantly just start trying to beat the crap out of her.
Yeah.
And she fights back and is kicking their butt. And it's like, okay, if you want their help, this is not how you do it. And if you
Yeah,
want
she
them
like
to kill you,
magnetizes the computer giant thing that Ben Grimm's getting ready to throw at her, and every piece of like metal machinery in the room, gets magnetized to him, and he gets crushed under it all.
yeah, I mean, she's fighting too hard to, she's basically trying to do suicide by cop.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, she's too good to be suicided.
exactly. She's kicking their butt. So it's like, this isn't how you do that.
Nope. Put on my Christmas
Nice
gift here for
hat.
my wife here.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
It's a little cold in this room. So the Machine Man, like, he defies gravity up to the window,
Yeah, that's working again now.
just rolls on in there on his unicycle wheel.
After he ran over a bunch of people's cars,
Yeah.
dented their roofs and stuff, it's like
It's so bad. He's such a terrible hero.
he has no respect for personal property.
None. But yeah, so Human Torch immediately attacks him because he comes to the window. I mean, obviously, Human Torch is already attacking a woman in an ion cloud.
Oh
And
yeah.
Machine Man turns one of his arms into ice block and attacks the Human Torch. That was all you needed to attack the Human Torch was ice. You could go to like the corner store, get a bag of ice, and like take down the Human Torch. Apparently,
Yeah, imagine if he had dry ice.
oh my god,
And I mean, Machine Man is such a MacGuffin. I mean,
he is.
he's that kid that, whatever you played games with, he had whatever countered whatever you did to him. Oh, I
Times
shoot you with a
infinity.
flamethrower. Yeah, I turned ice. Yeah, times infinity. You missed me.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not playing with you anymore, kid. You're
You didn't know
terrible.
I was intangible. It reminds me of like Cartman when they were playing ninjas, how he had the power to have all powers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because Cartman is that kid.
Yeah.
Well, the thing comes out of his pile and attacks Machine Man, who immediately beats him and leaves.
Well, he doesn't even beat, he just runs over him.
Or running
He
right
just,
over, I guess.
yeah, he pulls his feet out front and then takes off.
Yeah, Machine Man is the Mary Sue of this. I mean, it is his comic. I'll give him that. But it's the Fantastic Four, man. They fight against Galactus and the Silver Surfer and
Oh
the Pirate
yeah, I
Puzzle.
mean the Hulk would have a hard time, taking the thing off his feet, but not Machine Man with his little big wheel leg. He can just he grabs your ankle and then takes off.
So Machine Man encounters Ion again and taps into a street lamp to shoot her and retreats into a meat market. He like uses extra energy from a street lamp he like hacks into.
Okay, and here's the other thing I'm having problems with because he blasts her.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
and it hurts her. And she supposedly wants to die, and she says the Fantastic Four aren't smart enough or powerful enough to kill her, so she's gonna go somewhere else, try to find it. So she starts attacking like people in the street, just plain humans. Like, well, if the Fantastic Four can't hurt you, then what are these guys just walking on the sidewalk gonna do?
Yep.
And then X-51 shows up and blasts her with electricity, and it hurts her, and she runs. It's like, you want to die or not, lady?
And is it where she starts to become she starts to get her form back a little bit?
Well, he leads her into the freezer.
That's what it is. Goes into a meat
locker.
market and leads her into a the freezer, the deep freeze at the meat market.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't know hydrogen did this, but apparently her body starts congealing back into a solid mass again.
Yeah, so your average, butcher's freezer is enough to condense hydrogen into a solid, just like in the core of Jupiter.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a big no.
I mean, I can understand if you had some pressure going. If you pressurize, you might get liquid hydrogen.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but
yeah, I've been to a few different meat market coolers over my years, and they're not that good. No.
yeah, and I mean, as soon as she's back to human form, X-51 goes straight to punching her in the face. What a class
like a
act
dame.
Machine Man is.
Machine Man is gonna put her back in her place.
He's been listening to Sean Connery too much.
Yeah. Anyways.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Um
It's just he's a terrible hero.
He's really bad. He is
I mean,
what's a good equivalency for him?
it's hard because you got to find someone that's got like they're on their moral high horse,
Yeah.
but does everything wrong.
I mean, I was gonna say someone like Lobo, but he knows he's doing it wrong.
Oh yeah, he does that on purpose. I can't
Yeah,
think of anybody that's just this bad at being good.
I know. And he passes stuff on the back. By the way, did you
Yeah,
catch the point where as X-51 is propelling himself into the meat locker, he says he has to get into it, or he's seen his last episode of Dallas.
yeah, he's a Dallas fan, so
Just like Ed.
maybe
Um,
he's been taking his morality from J.R. Ewing.
oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Who shot JR?
Machine Man did it.
We wish. So yeah, we break into a little Matt and the Cat where they're reunited in the slave section of the ship.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah, they reunite them. And we find out they're from the planet Darkon.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and yeah, they're gonna be slaves now.
uh, I mean, on one hand, I'm really glad for Matt and the Cat, but they're in the slave portion of the ship, and then yeah, we're
And
cool, happy ending maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. That's yeah, that's our 6 panels, so that's all we're getting.
Yep,
And we have an ad for the new strip that's coming to the comics, the Chromobots.
yeah.
They'll be showing up in issue 12.
Um, I'm good with this. Honestly, Matt
Yeah,
and the Cat's really boring.
yeah. Chromobots looks a little better,
Yeah.
but
Actually, I thought the Chronobots, when I first looked at it, I thought the Chronobots were who Matt and the Cat had been abducted by.
yeah, that would have been a lot cooler.
Yeah, they look pretty similar.
So what's funny is in that same interview where they talked to Ian Rimmer,
Yeah.
he said that Hasbro was actually getting irritated by all the non-Transformer stuff that was like piggybacking on this comic, because they're basically they're paying Hasbro to make, not paying Hasbro, paying Marvel to
Hmm.
make these comics to advertise their stuff, and it's like half the comic is stuff that has nothing to do with Hasbro or Transformers.
I gotta kind of disagree with that though, because I mean all the robot roundup stuff. I mean these are robots in space.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's well rounded. It's just
Yeah.
Hasbro being a corporate entity, they're paying to advertise their toys, so they want 100% their toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
and so yeah, and apparently there was a lot of back and forth between the editors and Hasbro about that and their liaisons. So, and we're nowhere near the end of this. We have a lot more of Machine Man and Matt and the Cat and Chromobots, and I think there's even maybe a few others that pop up here and there.
I gotta say though, the Machine Man comic was not nearly as bad as it had been in the past.
No, it's getting better, and
It is getting
it'll
better.
continue to get better. Oh, and I laughed at the end because the Fantastic Four shows up to pick up Ion,
Yeah.
and that's when we finally see Reed and Sue. They just swing by, and out of everybody there, Johnny's not even mad about the icing, but the thing is just ready to kill X-51. And it's like, I guess he was humiliated, so you hurt his pride.
I
So
mean,
now you're on Ben Grimm's list.
and they're told to keep Ion in the cryo chamber.
Yeah, he
So,
left him a note telling him how to keep
yeah,
her solid until he can cure. And then he just
he's
wheeled off.
yeah. I mean, he's a terrible hero, but he actually did a good job here. He's like, okay, I got this figured out. Keep her in this cryo tube, everything will be fine. Kind of reminded me of oh god, it was the oxygen that the Iron Lung thing they had the parody of the Fantastic Four in on the Venture Brothers, where
Oh yeah.
the Human Torch guy was in because he didn't let any oxygen in and he didn't turn into flames.
Well, that's actually based on the original Human Torch, the one from the 30s.
Oh,
He
the
would have to
robot.
stay, yeah, the robot, because his skin would ignite.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
all side effects. So they had to keep him in like a vacuum chamber so he wouldn't like flame on
All the time.
all the time. Yeah.
God.
So what they did in the Venture Brothers there is they combined the two. So it's like Johnny Storm, but
Yeah.
he immolates anytime oxygen gets near him.
That's
Oh,
what
and did you see what we have to look forward to next issue also with Machine Man?
no, I didn't
We
look.
have Baron Brimstone
Oh,
and his
I did.
Sinister Satan squad.
I did see that. Oh man, I was so excited. I wonder what the Sinister Satan Squad is all about because I
Oh, I
cannot
know.
wait. Okay, like Ed and I have talked a lot about, and I know you are really well aware about. This is the Satanic Panic time in the United States, so I
Oh
cannot
yeah, it's just
wait.
getting wound up when this is out.
Cannot wait to see the Sinister Satan Squad is all about. That is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm worried they're gonna be lame because it's a code comic.
I mean, they probably are, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited that this is the first time I've ever been excited to read the next issue of Machine Man.
Oh yeah, cause yeah, you can't wait to see what that is. That's a good. See, they got a good tag right there to suck you in for the next one.
They got me. They
Yeah.
finally got me.
If for no other reason, you want to see the Sinister Satan squad.
I so wanted to see the Sinister Satan Squad. Okay, I can't say it slower.
Alliteration is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Oh
Oh,
my
and did
goodness.
you see the draw the Decepticon design Decepticon entries in this
I
issue?
did actually. I did see that. There was a really good one in there.
Did you catch a couple of familiar names in there?
I did actually catch Sound Blaster.
It's Sound Blaster and Blackwing,
Oh, really? I
which
didn't see
was the
that.
rebranding for Darkwing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Power of the Primes.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, they keep getting these design of Decepticons, and these kids are like forecasting like Decepticon names in the future.
yeah. Well, obviously, Sound Blaster, that was a great one because it once again he's like a ghetto blaster. So it's almost kind of like Blaster, the design, but
Yeah,
as Soundwave.
it's a
So
pretty good technical drawing too. I
it
mean,
is.
he got
I,
all the knobs and switches and everything in there.
I really like when I don't know, I was bad about this. This is why I didn't draw them very much because I got too much in the weeds. But I know a lot of
Hmm.
kids who drew Transformers when I was growing up. They wanted to see where every part went.
Right.
Like we didn't do the I don't know size morphing issues that we had in the cartoon. Like it wasn't all there weren't smooth edges and stuff. You found where all the blocky parts went when you
Yeah.
drew them. And that was very reminiscent of that.
Oh,
But
well, you're designing toys at this
yeah,
point.
yeah, you were.
Yeah.
And I think it's we all had fun doing that because we'd look at like a I don't know, we'd look at whatever was sitting around our house, like a TV. We'd make a transformer out of a TV or a ghetto blaster or whatever else. So
Hmm.
of course every military machine you see. I'm really I'm kind of surprised they didn't make a bigger deal out of Power Glide being a A10 Warthog
Right.
because that was such a big thing with the Cobra Rattler.
Hmm.
And the
Oh,
Warthog
totally.
was that?
I said, oh, totally.
Oh yeah. And I mean honestly the yeah, the A10 Warthog was a very popular, weird plane back when we were growing up. It was like one of those. They was called. It was the tank killer.
Yeah, they're still using it, aren't they?
Oh
Like
yeah, they
it.
are.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically it's a gun that can fly because they
yeah.
actually built the gun first and then designed the plane secondary to make the gun move.
One of the biggest like memes or whatever. The brrr. And they can hold a lot of bombs and such.
Hmm.
Just like they can they basically drop bunker busters, and they're great because they can get low, and they're good enough. They're maneuverable enough to be able to get out of the line of fire a lot.
Yeah, they're really big planes too. That's
Oh
why
yeah,
like Power Glide is odd that he's so small for being an A10.
yeah,
That's why I like that universe when they gave us what about 15 years ago.
yeah. It was actually a pretty good size. I mean, it was. I want to say about the size of an ultra class,
Yeah,
or I guess now
yeah,
it'd be a leader
yeah.
class.
It was a $30 toy
Yeah,
back
back then
then.
it'd probably be like an
Yeah,
$80 window.
yeah, yeah. It'd
um,
be like Commander class or something now because
yeah,
he was
like
big.
like the $55, $60 toy now. But yeah, the it was a good one, and the only problem is it didn't really have the right coloring on it. But I think the Japanese version of that went all red on it.
Well, they did a second run that was the red, like they reversed the colors and had the red with the like the off white trim.
Okay, that's actually a much better look to it. I mean, I
Yeah.
have the original run, the like light tan with the red trim on it.
Then I
It's a
say they
great.
did Skyflight too, who was one of the Micromasters. They did him in the
Oh,
black and
nice.
purple. Yeah.
Okay, I remember seeing that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I've always been like a fan of like Micromasters aren't really small, they're just another scale for the
Mhm.
characters. And I'd always prefer if they had the Micromasters as the full size toys. We get versions of that, which we've gotten a few of those.
Yeah, we
But
have.
yeah, I never really liked them as like the tiny robot in Optimus Prime's hand, like you see on the commercials or in some of the later comics.
Yeah, I like the idea that they are a scale for the bases, like they
Right,
do out the Japanese stuff. Like they're not that they're small, but they're a smaller size, but not that small because they're meant to be as like you
right. They
know
scale with like Metroplex and
yeah
Tristicon and Fortress Man, who are in a different scale than all the other toys anyway. So
yeah man. When I had my Metro Titan, he came with Metro Bomb, which is like a little orange car, and
right.
like the Dietless Sonic Bomber and Roadfire all have their respective Micromasters and
Well, and Star Convoy has Hot Rod.
yeah, Hot Rodimus actually, yes.
Yeah,
And I don't know if did Grandis come with one. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I never had Grandis. It's
Well,
not one of
neither
the
have
lucky
I.
ones.
He's one of the ones I wanted to find, but I wasn't really trying hard because he is the brickiest brick of all the bricks.
I was gonna say I'll go to Home Depot if I need bricks.
I got the DAG base, the uh the You Should Brave version of them, which is really
Yeah.
good. It works the same way. But you know, honestly, it's kind of cool having the micromasters like that. I enjoy that. So it was always kind of cool to see them bigger. And
Yeah.
what are some of the ones they've released as larger sizes? I'm trying to,
Oh, well, I know they did Blackjack. He wasn't like
Mhm.
full size, but they did him with like Titan's Return. Uh
That's right.
yeah, I'm trying to think. There's been a few. Like I said, there was
Did
Night
they do Big
Flight.
Daddy?
Maybe I
I
think
think they
yeah,
did Big
they
Daddy. It
did
was
they did one of the hot rod patrols, and you
yeah,
got you got a lot of those guys in like when Universe was doing like weird recolors of like movie figures.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
They actually released some of those as the minicons and Armada too.
right.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that, including go by names, Leader One and all that.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, honestly, this is I hate to say this, the issue of Transformers was less exciting than Machine Man.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the fight with Blue Streak and the Seekers and like Trailbreaker getting blown apart, that was cool and all.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it was a lot of exposition, a lot of like, it was like reading the Two Towers, like, yeah, and they're walking again.
Yeah.
And they're
They're
walking some
driving and
more.
talking at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They're exposition and traveling.
And they're having to reintroduce characters to Sammy that we've already known.
Yeah, I think that might be part of the problem is that it seems a little boring because we know these already. We're like, all right, come on, move on, let's go.
Well, we've got like Michael Bay Decepticons that don't talk; they just shoot and get blown up.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
mean, we know who they are.
Mhm.
They're the Seekers, but if you hadn't read anything else Transformers besides this, you wouldn't know who these guys are at all.
Yeah, I mean, they may as well be Cylon ships for all we know.
They haven't even transformed.
No,
They're doing
not
the
in
air
these
razor on us.
anyways. So yeah, I mean, I like that this is happening, around the time of the original miniseries, so we don't have to worry about Shockwave. And
Yeah.
so Shockwave showed up at the end of the UK and the United States run, so he's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious how they're going to do that. I know we have the Enemy Within coming soon. We have
Yes.
one more part of this, so we'll move on to that. Like I said, this is stuff I haven't read these issues in so many years. I don't think I ever really liked them, so I kind
Mm-hmm.
of thumb through
Yeah,
them.
you kind of gloss over them.
Yeah, Enemy Within though, I don't think it was released in America, was it?
No,
No,
no.
okay.
Actually, Man of Iron was the only British story released in
Oh,
America.
okay. So these are all the ones I haven't read until we get to the later ones like Target 2005 and the Time War stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And what's funny also about the American release, like these came out much later. Like it was issues 33 and 34.
Yeah.
Okay. And they actually had Grimlock in front of the Union Jack on the top of the little corner box.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they made it like it was a big deal and it's really demanded. And you thought that maybe they're going to do more of the UK comics in the US, but no.
Well, it's terrible too because I think from what I've read of the UK comics, they're so much better. They're more cohesive, this better storytelling. And you get a lot of the help with the American comics when Simon Furman gets involved.
Oh yeah. Well, in the interview I was reading, it's actually in IDW's UK Classics, the
Mhm.
compilations they did of these. That's where you'll see some of the, I guess, the collected comics reprints. And they interviewed Simon Furman for a bunch of stuff, and he said like the real key there is that Budiansky just didn't have time to flesh stuff out. And I want to say James Roberts is talking about it too in there. And it's like he was just slammed because Hasbro kept giving him a list. Okay, we want these characters in this issue. We want this one now. But with the UK, the way they worked in between the issues, they had the wiggle room to actually flesh out the stories more.
I can see that.
Yeah. And they were aware of that, like how slammed, Bob Budiansky was. So they used that and tried to use characters that he wasn't to, they keep the story a little tighter and then just run with it. And Hasbro wasn't interfering with them over there. They were basically letting UK guys do whatever they wanted. Whereas, they were right on top of, Bob.
And maybe why we got some really great stories that delved into some side characters and also introducing other characters we didn't get in the American releases, and really built a cohesive mythos as it went along.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
James Roberts talks about that. He says that he got a hold of one of the catalogs for Transformers from the US, which are different than the UK ones, and he saw all the toys that we were getting that they weren't.
I didn't realize James Roberts was British. Actually, I know he worked on IDW stuff. So
yeah, and he saw like Roadbuster and the Jump Starters and stuff on there, and he's like, they made toys of the Wreckers.
Not all of them, but a lot of them. Yeah, I still want a good toy of Rack and Ruin. I know they put one out for Cyberverse.
Yeah,
but I like a little less, the less stylized like that.
We need a Chug version.
We do need a Chug version, and I know they don't transform because they're stuck together, but they can do something with that. I'm sure.
That's the kind of stuff that Red perfect for.
Red should have been like should have been at this point
like Autobot X.
Autobot X, Rack and Ruin, Emirate Zeron, Alpha Trion,
Nightbird.
Yeah, Nightbird. God, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-transforming characters. All the other Quintessons that we haven't gotten yet.
Oh my God, the Bailiff.
Yeah, the scientist.
Yeah,
there's like different kinds of scientists. There's the one with the 3 heads from Dweller in the Depths and stuff.
Yeah. The one, then the one of them have like a cut through in the faces also.
Yeah, that was that one. The Dweller got him.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that they could do, and then all the other side characters.
Branix.
Slizardo.
Oh my God,
the Skugzoid. If we don't get a Skugzoid toy after what's going on with Skybound, then that dude, he needs his own series.
He's almost like a little bit like a little Death's Head mixed with
I would say Quark.
Yeah, Quark would be a good one to go with. Yeah. he's a great Ferengi who looks like a pig. I mean, and Ferengi. Anyways,
I don't know. All he really cares about is money and his wife and kids that he has.
Hell yeah! I mean,
I want to see his wife and kids. I really imagine that she's like some kind of like the termite queen. She's like just this massive like thing, and he's like the small little drone that always has to go out and bring food because she never leaves, but he's busy.
He's got to take care of all his 5,000 kids.
Yeah, and he's got a chastity belt on, so if you look, he's got a little lock. So yeah. I want to learn more about that whole dynamic because that's some weird like Star Trek original series stuff going on there.
It really is. I also, not that I really want him only in this style, but I'm kind of surprised the reaction figures really haven't put out a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, they've done a lot of they've done like the original prototype Unicron. They've done some interesting characters. I mean, they've done like Dead Optimus, Christmas Optimus, things like that. I know those are easy to recolor. Man, they did a burning convoy, like a um Optimus Primal.
Yeah,
They did like a burning convoy version, like for the Beast Wars second movie.
yeah.
So
Well, and like for Zeron, if they did a Zeron in red, they could just reuse the Megatron mold because he's pretty much the same
oh
body
yeah,
type. He's just gold with a different face.
yep. Which I mean, they could easily do that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great things they could do easily in red. I understand that the Quinn Sons probably aren't that great to do because they've got it. They want to make use of the mold they make.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would like to have a few different Quinn Sons like standing around because
I'd
that's
like red more if it's scaled with Chug
yeah,
because
I get that. The
yeah, because
Megatron's not
they're
bad.
superposable and
Yeah,
stuff, but like it's just a little off, but it shows up if you put them next to each other.
yeah. I've got the Megatron. That's the only one I ended up getting, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him. He's just I don't know. He doesn't seem as wide enough and stuff because he's supposed to be a puzzle figure. He's an
Right.
action master,
Oh
essentially.
yeah, well that's what they are. They're the new action masters, but they'd be great for like toy photography or you're
Oh yeah,
doing like toy comics, stuff like that.
yeah. I was kind of disappointed though. He didn't quite fit with the throne that came with Starscream,
Right.
Coronation Starscream. He didn't quite fit with that. If he was like a little longer legs, a little wider body, he would look great in that
Yeah, I'm
throne.
saying if he was just scaled up a little bit to match Chug, he'd been perfect.
All right, listen, all you Chinese knockoff producers, make a little bit bigger version of those.
Just a little. You don't have
Just a
to go
little.
like full Dragon Megatron.
No, man, just like yeah, just 1.25 times what it is right now. Probably all you need, maybe 1.5 the most.
Or make a smaller throne. That might be even easier.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah,
Either
honestly,
way.
it's good, and I'm glad to see this kind of stuff happening. I'm glad to see that there's a lot. There seems to be a lot more attention paid towards the characters like Quinn and Sons now, and
We're in the
we're
second golden age for
it
this
kind of is. It
franchise.
really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the figures they look right, and they're super posable now, and I mean, really, what else can you ask for? I mean, I love
Well, we're
this guy,
Transformer fans, so we can always
but
ask for more.
I mean, this guy, he's great and all. He he yeah, the one that came out for a chug, that's all I'll say.
Oh yeah.
But
I
hey,
love them all. I'm
that's the thing I try to
completely
explain to my
addicted.
wife. She's like, you have a lot of them. I said, well, yeah, I like them all for different reasons. They're all they're 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 my kids.
I have
They're
a lot
my
of them, but I don't have all of them.
keep your voice down, by the way.
Yeah.
um
You're gonna get in
anyways,
trouble. You can't play
yeah.
with him anymore.
We're putting these away. No.
At
All right,
garage
well,
sale.
let's go ahead and call it here. One more issue of Man of Iron to go, and of course, the Satan Squad next time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. All right, man. Good talking to you, and hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you do us a favor, subscribe to the podcast audio version, the YouTube. Both that helps a lot. And please give us a favorable rating. I appreciate it all. Give us a thumbs up
Yes.
on YouTube and all that sort of thing. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your kids, tell your neighbor, tell your dentist. I don't care. And thanks so much for being here, everyone. Do you have anything to take us out with?
Oh, I was kind of wiped out with Machine Man. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I got nothing today.
The Satan Squad's all I know.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, everyone.
I mean, all the Star Wars drama that we had, it was a lot.
I've got to figure out. I'm gonna have to put on the Discord the movie. It's like something like the Hidden Fortress. I think is what it is.
Oh wait, here we go. I got one. For my robot warriors are everywhere, disguised as cars, trucks, maybe even fire hydrants down your street. And they will all await my command to strike. You have been warned.
What?
Yeah. That's Donnie Finkelberg, the robot master.
Oh my God! The Robot Master.
We'll see him soon enough.
Is he in the UK comics?
Well, because they reprint the US ones. Also,
That's right.
yeah, they staggered them. So yeah, we'll get to see Donnie Finkelberg.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for being here this week, and we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Morethanmeetstheseguys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.